Family Guy never misses a chance to throw shots at anybody.
Are you just gonna talk over everything?
I love
that
talking
I
on TV. I'll do anything.
While some might take it well, others not so much.
Higher than Alyssa Milano.
What kind of cheap shot, Joel?
I'm suing, I'm on it.
Not her though, but someone else got so mad, they actually sued Family Guy. Today, we're looking at every person whose ego got wrecked by Family Guy and how they reacted. Adrien Brody may be an Oscar winner, but that didn't make him bulletproof when Family Guy took aim. In the season 9 premiere, and then there were fewer, the people of Quahog are invited to a murder mystery dinner at James Wood's mansion. Yup, James gets roasted too, but we'll get to him later. The night quickly turns into a murder mystery as guests start dropping like flies. After a round of dramatic accusations, everyone corners news anchor Tom Tucker, thinking he's the killer. And when they finally bring him down, that's when the Adrien Brody jab lands.
Just for that, when the movie of this story comes out, I'm gonna make sure Adrien Brody plays you.
I guess that means you don't want anyone to see it.
Okay.
Let's just say, if I were Adrien, I wouldn't be thrilled either. But Family Guy wasn't done with him yet. In another scene, Meg goes on a date to a 3D movie starring none other than Adrien Brody doing shirtless sit-ups. And of course, the 3D gets a little too immersive, with Brody's famously large nose poking right out of the screen.
Adrien Brody doing sit-ups in 3D.
1, 2.
So, how did Brody take all this? Not well. When Seth MacFarlane was asked in an interview if anyone had taken offense to their parody, he didn't hesitate. Adrien Brody. Even though MacFarlane told him at a party that he loved his movie Splice, there wasn't enough to smooth things over. Brody still held a grudge, and according to Seth, there were definitely hard feelings.
You know, I walked up to him at a party, and because I'd just seen Splice, and I thought it was awesome. And I said, like, hey, I really like Splice. I hope there's no hard feelings. And essentially the upshot was, well, there are. There are some hard feelings.
I love it.
But Brody isn't the only one with hard feelings. The list extends to Sarah Palin. Now, Family Guy has made fun of politicians before, but this time, they hit a very specific nerve. In the season 8 episode Extra Large Medium, Chris goes on a date with a girl named Ellen, who has Down syndrome. Should be all cool and fun. But during dinner, Ellen casually drops a very detailed description about her family line, especially her mother.
That's better. My dad's an accountant, and my mom is the former governor of Alaska.
Oh, that's cool.
It's real cool.
Yeah, it should be real cool, but unless there's another former Alaskan governor walking around with a kid named Ellen, yeah, that was aimed squarely at Sarah Palin. At the time, Palin's son Shrieg, who has Down syndrome, was just 2 years old, and the Palins did not laugh this one off. Palin took to Facebook to call Family Guy a particularly pathetic cartoon and label the creators heartless jerks. Meanwhile, Sarah went on the O'Reilly factor and doubled down, calling the show's writers cruel, cold-hearted people.
Is it not?
This world is full of cruel, cold-hearted people who would do such a thing. Look,
she then kept on saying how it was such an insensitive thing to the disabled community and was not funny at all. But Family Guy wasn't done talking. Seth MacFarlane addressed the backlash on Real Time with Bill Maher, pointing out that Ellen was voiced by Andrea Faye Friedman, an actress with Down syndrome herself.
What Sarah Palin, I think, was doing was coming out and saying, I'm here to defend you. Right. And what Andrea, the actress, had said was, you know, this is...
Andrea also said that the joke was about Palin, not her son, but then she called out Sarah for saying the gag was unfunny.
Sarah Palin.
Yes.
What did she say?
Yes. It was basically saying Sarah Palin has no sense of humor.
But the next celebrity to get mad at Family Guy wasn't even the target in the first place. Chloe Grace Moretz. Chloe Grace Moretz never asked to be part of a Family Guy joke, and technically she wasn't, but the internet had other plans. In the episode Amish Guy, Peter and the gang are hanging out at the Drunken Clam where the news announces a brand new amusement park ride called the Holocaust. Yeah, classic Family Guy subtlety. Peter's instantly hyped to try it out, but there's just one problem. Joe and Quagmire remind him he's way too heavy.
I have to ride that ride.
Peter, come on. They're not gonna let you ride that ride either. You're overweight.
Yeah, if you want to ride that roller coaster, you're gonna have to go on a diet.
So based on the gang's suggestion, Peter decides it's time to lose weight. And he sets his sights on a target for his weight loss journey.
I am going on a diet, and I'm not stopping till I look as good as my great-aunt Legs Go All the Way Up, Griffin.
Hey, baby, do those legs go all the way up?
Why, yes, they do.
Ah! Oh my God, you're a monster!
So yeah, the legs go all the way up. Griffin is basically all legs and no torso. That was the gag. But later someone photoshopped a picture of Chloe to make her look like that character and boom, it went viral. The internet laughed. Chloe did not. She said it messed with her body image. Chloe stated it made her hide from the spotlight for a while. The wild part, Family Guy wasn't even making fun of her, but thanks to the internet, she still caught a stray. Terri Schiavo controversy. Now Family Guy has pushed the line a lot, but this time it seemed they went right past it. In the episode Peter Ass Meant, Stewie's preschool class puts on a school play. Cute, right? Except the play is about Terri Schiavo.
I am so excited
excited for Stewie's first play.
Yes, that Terri Schiavo, the woman, was at the center of one of the most heartbreaking right-to-die cases in U.S. history. She wasn't so excited about what Family Guy did, and rightfully so, I guess. But even Brian pointed it out.
Hey.
Don't you think it's a little soon for a musical about Terri Schiavo?
Or too late?
Shh, it's...
Now, the curtains part and the show doesn't hold back one bit. The kids sing a cheery little song with lyrics like, Terri Schiavo, the most expensive plant you'll ever see.
We should just unplug her.
Terri Schiavo is kind of alive, the most expensive plant you'll ever see.
Yeah, it went there. The backlash? Immediate. Disability advocates, religious groups, and Terry's own family were furious. Her brother, Bobby Schindler Jr., was so mad at the show for being insensitive to his family that he even asked Fox to cancel Family Guy entirely. Spoiler, they didn't, and that didn't stop Family Guy from taking shots at yet another person who, once again, did not take it well. Rachel Bloom. Getting roasted by Family Guy is one thing, but when you're a comedian yourself and still end up on the receiving end, that's gotta sting just a little. In the episode Married with Cancer, Brian does what Brian does. He impulsively marries a woman who's dying. Okay, not exactly. So Brian meets Jess and they seem to hit it off, but he drops a subtle warning.
Say what's on your mind.
Hey, life's too short, right?
Tell me about it. I've been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Oh, you know, cancer?
Nah, she was not just being dramatic, she actually had cancer. But despite this information, Brian was not deterred. The two go about checking items off Jess's wild, chaotic bucket list, and by bucket list they explore craziest locations and scenarios to hook up. Now Brian doesn't stop there. Ever the romantic or opportunist, he then decides to propose to her, not because he's in love, but because he assumes she won't live long and well. He would get to be hailed as the brave, caring dude who married a girl with cancer. Aww.
I know we've had our differences, but you're a good guy.
Thank you, Quagmire.
But his plans fail woefully when, on their wedding day, the doctor bursts in to announce that Jess's cancer is cured.
Jess is going to live.
Suddenly, Brian's stuck in a marriage he never wanted. Jess makes matters worse by putting on weight, releasing stored-up farts, and other stuff that drives Brian nuts. Like when she gushes over the show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. This is where Family Guy uses the moment to poke fun at the show's musical numbers and quirky tone.
A Crazy Ex-Girlfriend sings this hilarious song.
Uh-huh.
It's all about how she's having her period, but the other guy she wanted to impress, the one who created the social media app, he walks in while she's singing, so now he's not into her either.
Uh-huh.
Now, Rachel Bloom, the creator and star of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, heard the jab loud and clear. She wasn't furious, but let's just say she wasn't giggling either. According to her, she could practically feel the male condescension dripping off the scene. She pointed out that the gag basically equated watching her show with being unattractive and unlikable, and even went further to point out what men were probably thinking when they watched the scene of Jess. She claimed she wasn't offended, and maybe a woman wrote that joke, but yeah, her reaction said she definitely wasn't pleased. Now, the next celebrity didn't really like the joke made about him, but at least he was bold enough to talk it out calmly with Seth. Dax Shepard. In the episode Our Idiot Brian, Meg is really worried about passing her SAT to get into college. Her friend suggests she get a smart person to take her tests for her. So she picks Brian. Time to prove the brilliance he always brags about. Brian successfully poses as Meg, but when the test results are returned, she lets him know they failed badly.
That's 1,000 out of a possible 2,400. That's the worst score in my class.
What?
Damn it, why did I ever think you were smart?
The news that Brian failed surprises him, but it doesn't stop Peter from teasing him. On the bright side of being stupid, they can both take part in doing dumb people stuff. But then Stewie is not so okay with Brian's change in attitudes, as it's nothing like Brian at all. And yeah, he was right to suspect something was off because Brian soon collapses with a bloody nose. The Griffins rush him to the hospital, and it's where they find out he has a brain tumor, but nope, the Dax Shepard roast doesn't come yet. When the Griffins learn the tumor is benign, they're split on whether or not Brian should have the surgery, and this is where Family Guy fires a shot.
Brian doesn't have the surgery. Will he be all right?
I don't know, is Dax Shepard all right?
Well, seems kind of gratuitous.
Yeah, that one was short, sharp, and straight to the IQ. Now, Dax didn't throw a fit online or call anyone a heartless jerk. Instead, he brought it up with directly Seth MacFarlane on his own podcast, Armchair Expert. He said he understood it wasn't meant to punch down and that it was very nuanced, but let's be real, he wasn't loving it either.
So I just wonder, have you moved through Hollywood and occasionally bumped up against someone that was sincerely hurt by the show or something?
Yes. Like what you've just described it's a very nuanced thing.
that is not as black and white as I once thought it was.
It wasn't angry, just brutally honest. Probably one of the more grown-up reactions on this list. And that brings us to the next person on the list who was in on the jokes too until he couldn't. James Woods. Some celebrities get dragged by Family Guy. James Woods, he jumped into the fire willingly multiple times. Woods didn't just get parodied, he voiced himself. And at first, he was all in. When the local high school was named James Woods High, he was flattered. That opened the door for him to appear as a recurring character, usually playing a chaotic, heady version of himself who shows up to mess with the Griffins. He's stolen identities, fake deaths, and somehow always comes back from the dead until he didn't. Yeah, the episode, and then they were fewer. He gathered the people he had tormented over the years for them to forgive him, but one wasn't so forgiving and he got stabbed.
He grabbed the knife off the dinner table and stabbed him.
In a 2015 interview, Woods said he actually loved the jokes and had a blast making fun of himself and didn't even ask for payment. That's right, he was roasting himself for free.
The funny thing, because I just really enjoy making fun of myself, because it's just, everybody else is going to do it. I might as well join in.
But by 2018, things got a little rocky. Woods, who had become vocal online, tweeted that he turned down a new Family Guy episode because he felt it was too anti-conservative. He went on to say it committed the greatest crime of all, that it was not even funny and just mean-spirited. Well, after that, radio silence. No more cameos. Even Woods couldn't survive the cut forever. His ego definitely got bruised, but at least he only tweeted about it. Carol Burnett went straight to court. In the episode Peterotica, Quagmire is browsing through his favorite adult bookstore when, out of nowhere, we see Burnett's iconic charwoman character from her old sketch show. The gag on Family Guy was quick and pretty tame by Family Guy standards.
Usually expect these places to be dirty.
Nah, it's pretty clean. Carol Burnett works part-time as a janitor.
She didn't even get more than 2 seconds on screen, but then Burnett wasn't laughing. She filed a lawsuit against Fox, claiming the show used her character without permission and violated her publicity rights. Basically, copyright infringement, character misuse, and general disrespect. And she wasn't playing around. Reports say she wanted somewhere between $2 and $6 million in damages. But the judge wasn't buying it. Judge Dean Pregerson tossed the case, saying Family Guy was protected under the First Amendment, though he did add that the scene was, quote, distasteful and offensive to Miss Burnett. So yeah, Carol didn't win, but she definitely made it clear Family Guy jokes aren't funny to everybody, especially not her. Maybe these reactions were justified, maybe they weren't, but one thing's for sure, stuff like this is exactly why people say they've had enough of Family Guy. Want to see just how deep the hate goes? Check out this video and see why so many people have turned on the show calling for it to be canceled.